Assuming that might be me. Hello, how are you? I'm James Valentine. Hi, welcome to this fantastic event happening around Australia and around the world. Sorry about that little pause at the start there. You know, the Zoom thing gets you every time, doesn't it? And I'm sure you've been enjoying that aspect of 2020. I think this form of communication has been the thing we're really going to love and cherish going into the future, and we'll keep doing this. We're going to try and make sure this happens all the time. It's a great shame not to be with you, to be hosting the event tonight and having the whole event, but this will be a humdinger. It's going to be terrific. Let us begin in this environment as we would if we're in the room together, by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet, you meet, wherever you might happen to be in Australia. It's Aboriginal land, always was, always will be. We are all part of a 60,000-year history in Australia, and I acknowledge the traditional owners of this land by paying respects to elders past, present and emerging. And I look forward to a future when we all acknowledge the true history of Australia and walk together in reconciliation and recognition of 60,000-year history. Great to be with you tonight for what I think is going to be a really exciting and fantastic event. This format, of course, as we've all come to know and cherish, any kind of video thing, it can be a bit unpredictable. So if it all goes haywire, please bear with us. We'll be doing all we can to get it back, as you might expect. I'm James Valentine from the ABC, from ABC Radio in Sydney and lots of other parts of the ABC. I am so well versed in technical breakdowns. You know, I've got years of history of trying to keep things going while somebody's soldering in the background. So don't worry, this is all going to go very, very smoothly. And if it doesn't, please be patient. Any technical problems you might be observing, you can let us know in the chat on the side. That's, you know, you can let us know anything in the side there, but let us know if you're not quite seeing what you think you should be seeing, and we can get onto it. Now, tonight's event is powered by the wonderful Funding Network. They're an Australian-based non-profit that brings people together for good, and we are thrilled to be supporting Hear and Say tonight to raise much needed funds for their critical work, supporting children with hearing loss to reach their full potential. We've got a fast-paced program planned for you. So let's get straight into it. I want to invite Chris McCarthy, he's CEO of Hear and Say, to welcome you and say a few words.
Thanks, James, and so good to see you again, albeit in 2D this year. And a lovely good evening to everyone around Australia, around Queensland, and certainly around the globe. Some of you joined us last year for our first ever crowdfunding event at EY. Who could have predicted the year that it was, hey? In keeping with the times, we are doing our inaugural virtual event this year, and I'm really excited this evening to hear from three of our wonderful team members, leaders at the Hear and Say team, who will be presenting, who've been practicing their pitches very busily over the last couple of weeks. We'll also be really fortunate to hear from some of our families who've experienced the Hear and Say journey firsthand, and some of our supporters, and we are so grateful to have them all on board with us. We often say that the community is the backbone of Hear and Say, and so we are so very grateful to have some of our long-term supporters, TEAS and the Suncorp Stadium team, supporting us here this evening, and we wouldn't be able to be here with them tonight. They've been part of the village for such a the Hear and Say village for such a long time, and we're so grateful to have their involvement this evening. But finally, thank you to you. Thank you for logging on and joining us this evening. We know everyone has had a crazy year, and this time of year particularly is very busy. We really appreciate that it has been challenging times, but we're so grateful for your support. It is going to be an exciting night. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Chris McCarthy. That's excellent. It is odd, isn't it? It's the end of the year. Doesn't it feel like 2020 kind of took forever to get through, but the end of the year has come upon us like, what? What do you mean it's Christmas around the corner? Can't believe it. What do you mean they're playing carols in the supermarket? Driving me crazy. Anyway, fantastic and good to be here to get the whole thing started. This works very, very simply. You're going to be hearing from three amazing project leaders who are going to be telling you all about the work that they're involved with, and then we'll be asking you for your support. Each presenter will have 5 minutes to tell their story, and then they'll answer your question. You can put questions in the little spot on the bottom there. If you're looking at the screen, you'll see it says ask a question down the bottom there. I'm just sort of pointing vaguely in the direction. So you can put your questions in there. You can also vote on any questions that are coming up, and they're the ones we'll ask first. After you've heard from all three presenters, we're going to facilitate live pledging through the chat room. That's through that chat column on the side there. I'll give you more instructions about that when we get to that part of the program. So let us meet our very first presenter tonight. This is Jessica Balfour Ogilvie. Jessica joined the Hear and Say team in 2006, and she's currently clinical manager for listening and spoken language, having worked as a speech pathologist for over 30 years. Jessica will share how critical RAW programs are in empowering children and young people with hearing loss to foster both short and long-term positive experiences in their communities and schools. So please welcome Jessica.
Alone, we can do little. Together, we can do so much. Science tells us that as humans, we need to belong. Yet 95% of families who have a child born who are deaf have had no previous experience with hearing loss, leaving them feeling very alone and unsure of where they belong. Hearing loss does not discriminate based on race, gender, or socioeconomic status. It can happen to me, to you, or to someone you love. The Centre for the Developing Child at Harvard University stresses that just one caring, responsive, communicative partner can make the difference in a child and their family's ability to cope and bounce back from adversity. That one person could be from our team at Hear and Say. This is why our specialist team run the Hear Us Say RAW programs. RAW stands for Resilience and Wellness. We provide the support to our children and families so that they can develop skills to not just survive, but thrive. At Hear and Say, we have 12 group programs at different stages in a child's development. They extend from our babies group, where we connect families together at the earliest possible stages, to our workshops for school leavers to help them navigate the post-school world. These groups support our families developing the skills that they need. Our activities are tailored around leadership, building confidence, and working with each child on an individual basis to help them understand their hearing loss and be able to explain it to others. We know how important our group programs are. Just last week, we received this message from one of our families whose daughter had attended our group program. Looking forward and back, we can't thank Hear and Say enough for the contribution you have made to our daughter Zara's life. From the struggle she had early on, she now holds the high school English academic scholarship. She is a passionate speaker, reader, learner, and we thank you and your team for giving her the skills, confidence, and support to thrive early on. In 2020, and in response to COVID-19, at Hear and Say, we managed to transition some of our group programs online to keep children, families, and clinicians connected. However, not all families were able to have access to these groups. Frustratingly, due to ongoing gaps in our funding, we can only provide these groups in a piecemeal, stop-start manner. Each year in Queensland alone, up to 165 families will receive the initially devastating diagnosis and life-changing diagnosis of hearing loss. Another 100 families of preschoolers will be diagnosed. Our vision is to support all these children. Importantly, Hear and Say, for almost 30 years, has been here to connect families and support them and guide them through to teach their children to speak clearly, be ready for school, and make sure that they achieve what is important to them. It still remains our goal to teach each child to listen and speak, but to provide each family and later each child a place to belong is our number one priority. No one wants to be alone. We all need to belong. Next year, more than ever, we need your help. We want all our children and families to be able to attend one of our groups, to work on their confidence and resilience. With your support, we can provide a place for them to belong, so they are not alone. Tonight, if you pledge $500, we will run one group program to support 20 children and their families. For $5,000, we can run 10 groups in a term at one of our 5 centres around Queensland for up to 100 children and families. Tonight, together, if we can raise $30,000, we can run these groups plus our workshops for teenagers where we help them with their leadership, communication and confidence skills. Please dig deep tonight for our children and our families. Alone, we can do little. Together, we can do so much. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. Well done. That was great. Excellent. I'm surprised that sounds like quite cheap. Like $500, you can run a term for 20 kids. Is that what you said?
For one group. For one group, which runs for about 2 hours, it's $500 to support the families.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's great.
So you can do a lot, with $20,000.
We get a little bit of support from NDIS for the actual to the time that the families are there, but as you can imagine, there's a lot of other input and preparation to make sure that those groups are running with the aims and the goals that we have for each child and family.
Yeah. How challenging has this year been?
It has been a very interesting year, but I don't know. It's I think everyone has really stepped up to the challenge, and Hironsay was lucky because we've always run a telepractice program. So we transitioned a lot of our groups online. So I'm involved in running our Little Babies group, and we've had a regular group of about 8 families that have connected and stayed connected for that time, because particularly those families who have had babies during COVID have had no connection with anyone. So imagine being having a newborn baby, first of all, in the COVID world, and then having a baby born with a hearing loss and having no connection. So it's been fabulous that we've been able to keep families connected.
Now, if you want to ask a question, there is a little question box down the bottom there. It's labelled "Ask a Question," so you can put questions in there if you've got anything that you want to best to expand upon. As we're talking about the raw programs, what are the sort of issues that you address in the main? What are the common sort of things that come up? Even like I gather the age you're talking babies to teenagers. What are some of the common things that you're dealing with?
Some of the children are dealing with that age is sometimes they are very reluctant to wear their technology because they're the only ones that they are out and about that wear technology, and connecting children together so they can see other children wearing technology is awesome. Some of the children experience difficulty listening in different environments, and sometimes they can have issues with people bullying them for different reasons. I guess we try and normalise and make, their hearing loss something that's about them, and getting them to understand actually their hearing loss and then explaining it to others is really important. But being able to advocate for themselves, teamwork is really important, and then teaching them if they have communication breakdowns because of the listening environment, how do they then repair those and be able to be communicating effectively.
Can you take me into one of those groups? What are the kind of things you do to achieve that? I mean, that sounds like such a challenge to try to instill that kind of confidence and resilience that you're talking about.
Yes. So recently in the last holidays, I ran the Launchpad program, which is for our kindergarten age children. One of the activities that we actually did is we used plasticine and got the children to look at their different hearing technologies that they're wearing and make their own, interpretation of the hearing devices that they wear. And they worked together in a pair. So the children had to communicate with each other what they wanted or what they didn't want. And then they had to explain to the group about their hearing loss. And so I guess we're developing their skills and their confidence with using technology. they're here and they hear, and that's really important for them.
Yeah. So you said you get some NDIS money, anything else from government?
We get a little bit of funding from some service agreements with the Education Department for our group programs, but a lot of it is unfunded support, and particularly with the development of new programs, because we need to adapt them. This year, of course, adapting them online has been, people have spent a lot of time transitioning them to be interactive enough to keep kids engaged, because obviously it's very different having children in a room compared to online. But we just committed to doing that this year without those funds, because we knew how important it was for families to keep connected.
If I have more than one child, and perhaps the other children don't have hearing loss, can they go to these classes? Should they go?
Absolutely. Hear and Say, our philosophy is all in, everyone in. So we've had over the years many children who've attended, especially our early intervention, so until children are in that 0 to sort of 6-year-old age group, attend our group programs with their siblings, definitely 100%. And we've had twins who've been part of the program, and we've graduated the twins as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Jessica, fantastic to meet you. Thank you so much for taking us through the class. There's a nice through the class. There's a nice message here. It says, Jess has been looking after our son since his magic years 3.5 years ago. We're so incredibly grateful to have had Jess and the entire Hear and Say team supporting our entire family throughout what started off as a somewhat difficult journey. So I'm sure you're hearing. I hope you're hearing those sort of messages all the time.
Great, awesome. Thank you, everybody, and we'll look forward to an exciting evening.
Excellent, thank you. That's Jessica Balfour Ogilvie telling us about the RAW projects for resilience there. Fantastic, and we'll explain how you can pledge and support her operations at the end of things. So let's move on to our second presenter. This is Jackie Monaghan. She's a senior school hearing screener and joined the Hear and Say team at the beginning of 2018. Since then, Jackie has screened over 6,500 children in Queensland. So we're going to learn from Jackie how Hear and Say is supporting the 1 in 5 prep-age children who are potentially not hearing optimally in the classroom on any one day, and how hearing is so vital to a child's learning journey in the school environment. So would you welcome Jackie Monaghan. Hi, Jackie.
The early learning years in a child's life is an essential foundation for their lifelong learning. It's generally assumed that when a child starts prep that they have good hearing. But in reality, many 4 and 5-year-olds who are entering prep have an undetected hearing issue. This means that their parents and teachers are unable to provide the support that they need as they start their formal education, and the results can be devastating. A child who is struggling to hear in the classroom can be labelled as troublesome, disinterested, and quickly falls behind. So how does this happen? Every child born in Queensland has access to a free newborn hearing screen while they're in hospital. 1 to 2 babies born in every 1,000 will be diagnosed with a hearing loss. And by the time these children reach school, the number of children with a hearing loss will have doubled. There are valuable hearing screening programs funded for children, but they are targeted to the most vulnerable in our communities with the greatest risk. And that's great, but we know that there are children with no known risk factors who will struggle to hear by the time they get to school, even though they have passed their newborn hearing screen. There is no universal hearing screening program for all children, but we believe Hear and Say have the solution. Our Here to Learn program screens all children at any school, be it public or private, because our belief is that every child deserves the chance to be the best learner that they can be. Like newborn hearing, we go to where the children are. We screen at their school and we pick up problems early. A screen takes just 5 minutes. 5 minutes to change the learning journey of a child. 5 minutes to change a life. Since we've commenced our school program, we have screened over 60,000 children. And what we have found is that on the day of screening, 23% of children are not hearing at their best. Now, this may be temporary due to fluid or infection or objects blocking the ear, and we've seen some funny things in ears over the years. So we've seen Lego and beads, even jelly beans, but the loss may be temporary. Our screens only take 5 minutes, and this 5 minutes can change a child's life. Lives like Ellis, who had a progressive hearing loss detected after he had a Hear to Learn screen. Ellis now has a cochlear implant and a hearing aid. He passed his newborn hearing screen. He didn't have any known risk factors and would have been missed in a targeted program. Lives like Lucy, a kindy student whose mum was being encouraged to have her assessed for a behavioural disorder because of her behaviour around other children. A 5-minute screen at her kindy changed her and her family's life. A hearing loss was detected, and once Lucy started wearing her hearing aids, her behaviour transformed. Again, a targeted program would have overlooked Lucy, an otherwise healthy child. Our team is able to help children all over Queensland, just like Ellis and Lucy, and it only takes 5 minutes. But despite this, our program is not fully funded. It's only made possible with the generous help of people like you. It costs $1,500 to screen a class of 30 children. Of this, schools are only charged $500, and for many schools, even this amount is unattainable. If you want to help make a difference tonight, gifts of $100 will ensure that 2 extra children can be screened. Gifts of $1,500 will ensure an entire class can be screened. If we can raise $30,000 tonight, we would be able to screen up to 20 classrooms of eager-to-learn preps. There would be potentially 140 students amongst them who would have their undetected hearing loss identified for the first time, potentially changing their learning journey forever. The impact that this has on these children and their families is immense. That is why we do what we do. That is why we need your help to find these children and put them on a path of better learning through better hearing. Tonight is your opportunity to be a part of the 5 minutes that can change a child's life. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Jackie. That's, again, such astonishing things. I mean, the figures that you're finding are high, like 1 in 5, you're saying, 20 odd percent. But again, I'm struck by the fact that we're not talking about giant sums of money here. You're talking about $1,500 we'll do a class of children. That's remarkable.
It is really amazing. And when you're on the ground and you're speaking to parents and they're so surprised by what we're finding, it's just amazing that we can reach out to these families and help them and put these kids on a path to better learning and being able to participate in their classrooms so much more.
Yeah. Kindy's the best age to do it?
Generally, either at kindy or prep is the best age, so 4 or 5 years old. They understand the testing process. They're not too frightened of us coming in, and we're getting some good results there.
Yeah, and is there any reason to want to do it again at 10 or at 8 or 9, 10 years old?
Absolutely. Hearing loss can occur at any age. So at the moment, the only benchmark that we have for children is the newborn hearing screening. So doing it at ages 4 and 5 is now another benchmark. So if something does happen down the track, then they can pinpoint possibly where it's happened and what has caused this hearing loss.
Yeah, yeah. It strikes me like so many early intervention programs we might talk about in all sorts of areas. If we did this, we've got enormous savings down the track. Like instead of teachers deferred to deal with behavioural problems later on, or all sorts of other extra services, we find the problem here. We know what we're dealing with.
Absolutely. And unfortunately, hearing loss or hearing issues are quite often not thought of when a child is not behaving as they should in class. And for schools, it's a valuable resource because it either can include or exclude hearing as one of the issues for their children.
Imagine schools love this. Schools would be, you'd be hearing from schools all the time saying, we'd love this. This would be fantastic.
Absolutely. And it's so easy for parents to participate. They don't have to go anywhere. They don't have to make time in their schedule. It's fitted into a normal school day and it just takes 5 minutes.
Yeah. So there's no government funding for this?
Unfortunately not. We have managed to secure a one-off government grant, but funding for school programs is a really complex issue. But by supporting our program tonight, you're not only helping children in classrooms today, you're also helping us gather that evidence that we need to get more funding and to be able to reach out to more children in the future.
If government did start funding it, would they then run it?
Well, look, generally in the past, government health programs have been quite costly. I think our Here to Learn program has shown that we can provide the program effectively and efficiently, but we would love the opportunity to pair up with the government bodies and get this program rolled out to statewide.
Yeah. Now, I'm assuming if a school wanted it, if someone's listening tonight and they know that their school would like to do this, they can book in?
Absolutely. It's really easy. All they need to do is contact our team at our Here and Say Ashgrove office and they'll walk them through the program and book them in.
Right. And can I pay for my child's school? Can an individual get this done?
Well, usually we go through the schools, but if you were interested in sponsoring your own school, I'd suggest that you give our team a call in the office again and they'll be able to walk you through the process on how to sponsor your own school.
Yeah, it's someone's on the chat room and said this is such an essential program for little Queenslanders. It's an essential program for little Australians, really, isn't it? Does it happen in other states? Do other states do this?
No, not at this stage.
No, it seems like something that just should roll out automatically. It's one of those ideas you go, oh, okay, well, why are we doing this? Sure, we check their teeth and all sorts of other things. We give them that annoying nap plan in New South Wales all the time. How about we do this? Could be a lot.
A much more useful service.
Much more useful. Jackie Monahan, fantastic. Thanks so much. That was excellent work and a lot of good comments on the chat there. Such a small amount of money can make such a huge difference. Think of the chance to give a gift to a child, which will stay with them for life. Thanks, Dimity. Yeah, that's the sort of thought I have immediately when I hear this. I just think to myself, come on, this seems like such a standard thing we should be doing. Our third presenter tonight is Elise Harvey, and she joined the Hear and Say team in 2012 after graduating with honours with a Bachelor of Speech Pathology at the University of Queensland. We're going to hear from Elise. She shares how Telepractice is enabling more equitable access of specialist support to families in real need around Queensland and beyond via video conference link-ups, camps and outreach visits. So would you welcome Elise Harvey.
When two beautiful baby boys were born to first-time parents Renee and Brett, they were excited about taking them home to their property in Dysart, a 10 hours drive north of Brisbane. While still in hospital, Tommy and Huey had their newborn hearing screen, and both boys were referred for further testing and would go on to be diagnosed with a significant and permanent hearing loss. This is not how the family imagined their first days together would be. As the news that the boys had a disability was sinking in, there were many questions going around in Mum Renee's head. Will they ever hear us tell them how much we love them? Will they go to our local school and make friends? And vitally for a rural family, how will we access the help we need living so far away? This is where Hear and Say's Telepractice program offers families like Renee and Brett's a true lifeline. Our Telepractice program is unique in that it offers a dual approach, pairing specialised listening and spoken language therapy for families at home via video conferencing with in-person support through 1 or 2 visits annually to the child's home and learning environment. We know that children who access this combination of supports can achieve the same level of results as those who receive all of their services in centre, and we know this through research. When Tom and Hugh's parents found out about our Telepractice program, they were elated that their boys could receive gold standard care right from their own lounge room. They weren't forced to choose between their love of the land, their family home, and their livelihood, and incredibly important care for their cherished boys. The flexibility of our Telepractice program means that we can be wherever families need us to be, whether that is at their kitchen table or on a tractor via an iPad during harvest season. In addition to these services, the family love their twice-yearly trips to Brisbane for the Telepractice intensive camps for important in-person support from our specialists. This includes listening and spoken language therapy, audiology and occupational therapy. However, what is priceless for their family is the ability to connect with others who are walking a similar journey, raising children in rural areas who are deaf or hard of hearing. And also for Tom and Hugh to make friends with others who are just like them. This unique combination of video conferencing with occasional in-person supports sees almost 100% of our children go on to go to their local schools with beautiful speech and language outcomes that are the same as for children without hearing loss. Each year, there are around 50 families being supported by our Telepractice program, and this year has been busier than ever, with the COVID-19 pandemic temporarily driving the majority of our therapy services online. Tonight, we need your generous support to ensure that no family misses out on vital services purely because of where they live. I need your help tonight to ensure that all children enrolled in our Telepractice program, like Tom and Hugh, have access to gold standard care. $100 will cover the gap in funding for a Telepractice lesson. $1,000 will fund a regional visit from a clinician to the child's home and learning environment. If together, we can raise $30,000 tonight. This will fund a Telepractice intensive camp for 15 regional families, a lifeline to connect with others in the same situation. We all know that families in rural and regional Australia are doing it tough, and that is only compounded in circumstances where their children are facing extra challenges such as hearing loss. Ensuring access to specialist, high-quality services is one real way you can help. Tom and Hugh started kindy at the beginning of this year with their typically hearing peers. They are just typical 5-year-olds. Mum Renee told us earlier in the year that it rained for the first time in almost a year on their property. The boys were so excited. The rain hit the tin roof on their home, and both boys could hear it. Thank you.
Yeah, lovely image finish on there. The rain on the tin roof. It's an Australian sound, isn't it?
Absolutely, and apparently the boys were just beside themselves and, out in the rain having a great time.
Yeah. Elise, you were so ahead of the curve. 2020's been a breeze for you. You knew how to do this.
We were very fortunate, actually, with over 20 years' experience running our Telepractice program and providing services to families online. Really set us up to deal with 2020. So it was all of that experience that helped us just seamlessly transition our families to online services. And without our rural and regional families and needing to support them in the past, we wouldn't have been able to do that so easily.
How much bigger was the demand this year? Like, how many more families did you end up with?
Well, at one point we had all of our families in our early intervention program pretty much getting their services online. So, exponentially bigger.
Yeah, off it went. It strikes me like it's such a great thing. It's one of those things that's great about the modern world, isn't it? If it was, a generation ago, there would have been nothing. There would have only been coming down to Brisbane to work with people, right?
Absolutely. There are stories of families who would fly every week to Brisbane to get the support that they need. And we're just really fortunate now that we know the outcomes are there. If we provide this support for families, these children have great outcomes and they don't need to travel so much, which is great for everybody.
Yeah. So what is the existing funding for Telepractice right now?
Sure. So we do get some funding through the government through NDIS plans for individuals, which is wonderful, and that has been very helpful. However, there are still significant gaps to fund the whole program. So, for example, travel costs for families to come and attend those telepractice intensive camps that I was talking about, which are just so important for families to feel connected and get in-person support, is something that we're not funded for.
Yeah, those camps must be great. How many people come to those?
We have about 20 families, often all at once. So the place is a hive of activity during those times, and we have, group programs and individual lessons and family get-togethers, and everyone really loves them. They're a busy time, but it's such a joyful time seeing all our kids together.
Yeah, it's a big state. What's the furthest? Who's the furthest away?
Well, we sort of support families in all corners of Queensland. That's the beauty of this program. But one family actually that springs to mind is actually in the Nhulunbuy, which is about, I think it's about 11-hour drive from Darwin, so in the Northern Territory. So, very, very remote are some of our families.
Yeah. So you do in Aboriginal communities as well, Indigenous communities as well?
We have some children, yes, yep.
Yeah. What are some of the differences, like delivering the service over telepractice as opposed to in person? Do you feel as though you can pretty much do it all, or there's some things that you just can't achieve?
Yeah, so we can do most of what we do via telepractice, which is great. So, our philosophy is all about empowering families to be able to teach their children to listen and speak. So in that way, we're really acting as a guide and a coach, and that works really well over video conferencing. Obviously, we don't have, we can't actively play with toys with the child, but we're guiding the parent to do that. There are some things that we can't do at the moment, though. So, for example, formal speech and language assessments, which are so important to track a child's progress. That's something that needs to be done in person because there just isn't the evidence from a research point of view at the moment to do those over video conferencing.
Well, it's fantastic to meet you. Thank you so much for your presentation. Terrific.
Thank you.
Absolutely, that was wonderful. Thank you. On the text, Dimity says, on the chat room, Dimity says, so powerful, Lisa. Imagine the life-saving opportunities for Tommy and his parents in accessing our telepractice in their own home. And they are doing so well. I love hearing them chatting as they run down the hall at Hear and Say. Yeah, so that's a beautiful thing. And thank you so much for your messages. Of course, you can have, whack anything you like in the chat room as we're going along. If you've got questions you want to put there as well, it's fine. If you just want to comment on what you're hearing, that's wonderful. Alrighty, fantastic. Thank you. Wonderful speakers from Jessica to Jackie and Elise. Absolutely terrific, all round incredible stories from those three people. They made those projects, are all doing great work. I'm sure you've heard all of those. If you didn't know about them, I'm sure you're really moved. If you knew about them, it'll be great to go, yeah, that's right. They really are on target. These are really the things that we should be providing from Hear and Say across the state of Queensland. So let's see now if we can work together and get the money they need to fund their incredible projects. So let me tell you a little more about how the pledging works. What we're going to do is we're going to invite an advocate for each program up on the screen now, to tell you why they support Hear and Say and to kick off the pledging. Then we're going to open it up to everybody else. So you'll be able to, as you're watching, you'll say, look, love it, I pledge $100, and on we go. If you want to make a public pledge, then enter your name and the amount you want to pledge into the chat box, and I'll read it out. Don't worry if I miss your pledge. We are going to go back through it. I will catch up with it if it doesn't get read out immediately. We'll catch it. I'll make sure that everyone's pledge is counted. This is like, it's like I've got Trump observers here watching that every vote's, every pledge is genuine. We'll go through each program in the same order that they're presented. So please save your pledge until we're collecting that particular program, okay? When we're done, we'll do a quick second round. We like to go just back around, just go, is that what everybody wanted? Did you have a little more that you'd like to give? So don't worry, you can take your time. You can do this however you like. Now, all pledges are, of course, tax deductible. Pledges start from just $100. So it's a $100 minimum, but there is no upper limit. Go for it. Pledge the house. Don't be shy. Now, I know that a lot of people might think, look, this is great. I'm just going to, put something in an envelope and send it off to them. And I think that's somehow, in some ways, that's a more traditional Australian kind of way. We, at the Funding Network, are great believers in public pledging. We think it's a fantastic thing to do. And the reason for that is that we think and we know that when you do it, it inspires others to do it. It makes other people go, yeah, okay, I'd like to do that too. So we think it has a really powerful snowball effect. It encourages everybody watching to think, yep, I want to do that as well. So even though you might be someone that doesn't normally do this kind of thing, you want to be anonymous about it, have a shot tonight. Give it a public pledge, and I think you'll see the way in that will inspire others and help increase the giving that we achieve this evening. If that appeal to you still didn't get through, it's okay. You can donate directly to on the Hear and Say website. You can text your pledge to the number that's posted in the chat room right now. So plenty of opportunities there, however you would like to do it. All right, I hope all that was clear. I think it's pretty straightforward. Put your amounts in the chat room there, along with your name. Well, I'll see your name, but put your amounts in there, and then we can pledge. All right, so let's get started now. This is very simple. We're just going to remind ourselves of what Jessica Balfour Ogilvie is offering with the RAW program. That was the one we heard from first. The advocate is Robin Lamsam. Now, Robin's career spans across many different fields. She was an Olympic swimmer and Asian Games medalist. She is currently a motivational speaker and MC. Robin's 4-year-old son, Kyle, is her connection to Hear and Say. And we are delighted that she can be with us here tonight, all the way from her home in Hong Kong. So hello there, Robin. I hope we've got you there. We made the connection?
Hi, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Robin. In 2016, our son Kyle was born with profound bilateral hearing loss, which came as a tremendous shock because there's no history of hearing loss in either of our families. To this day, I still remember those initial feelings of despair and hopelessness. But 4.5 years on, I'm delighted to report that Kyle is a confident, happy little boy who is absolutely thriving and living life to the fullest. There's no such word as can't in his vocabulary. Tonight, it's a great honor to be advocating for Hear and Say, and for Jess in particular, who has been pivotal to Kyle's overall successful development. In addition to weekly telepractice sessions, we've also been going to Brisbane once a year to attend Hear and Say group programs and for Kyle's annual hearing assessment. It's such a shame that we've had to miss this year's visit because it's so lovely to meet up with other cochlear families. As an ex-Olympian, I've always had a very positive outlook on life and a strong belief in human potential. From day one, we consciously adopted a positive and hopeful mindset towards Kyle's hearing impairment. I must stress, however, that this didn't come purely naturally. I have been able to be so confident and so optimistic because I know I'm getting all the right information and guidance from world-renowned specialists, experts like Jess, and her colleagues at Hear and Say. So tonight I ask you to support Hear and Say and to contribute generously to their amazing programs that enable deaf children to receive essential peer support and guidance. After all, our overriding goal is to do our utmost to help children overcome life's inevitable adversities and for them to reach their fullest potentials. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Robin. Fantastic to hear from you, and nice to meet you. This is a little bit exciting. Excellent advocacy there from Robin to start us off. But how about this? There is an anonymous donor who is happy to kick off the pledging tonight with a donation, a pledge of $5,000. So we're starting at the 5,000 mark for Jessica's Raw program. So thank you so much to that anonymous donor. It's very, very good of you, and a wonderful thing to for you to do to help out Jessica's Raw program. So we have $5,000 in the kitty already. So who would like to add to that? And if you'd like to get typing and text away in the chat room there, type away into the chat room and give your donations. $100 is absolutely terrific. What we believe is that the whole thing works as a, the more we give, whether you give 100 or someone else gives 5,000, it's a cumulative thing. At the end, we have all raised this money here tonight. So it's an absolutely wonderful thing. So we have $5,000. There's also 5,000 matched funding on offer. So really, in effect, the 5,000 is matched by another 5,000. So it's absolutely, that's a powerful donation there as well. So if you would like to offer a pledge to help out Hear and Say and to help out Jessica Balfour Ogilvy's Raw program in particular, let's get to it. And you might like to write something into the chat room there right now. Kristen Lark, thank you so very much. $100 from Kristen. That's very, very good, and thank you. Terrific. There you go. $100 in there already. Jessica's program is she's offering the resilience classes, the classes for resilience and wellness across the age ranges from babies really all the way through to teenagers. Absolutely terrific thing to be in place. I mean, I think this is one of the powers that one of the things I love about Hear and Say is this. We're not just talking about the practical things. We are talking about the stuff, all the stuff of life that anybody's going to need, and that will be of benefit. So this is a great program, and I hope that you can find it in the pocket to give something to them. So we've got some pledges coming in already. That's terrific. We've had for Hear and Say, let us know there's a $500 anonymous proxy pledge as well. Thank you so much for that. Michael and Ainsley, thank you for your $500. Yes, wonderful. Very, very good. That's terrific. I think every program is so vital for our Queensland children and families. I'm so grateful to be a part of the Hear and Say family, writes Malia, and she's pledged $300 to Raw there as well. Absolutely fantastic program, and a $500 pledge from Lindsay and Pete. Thank you, Lindsay and Pete. Good on you. Stephanie and John have committed $100 to the Raw program. So that's absolutely terrific. Thank you. Keep them coming. Bring them in, nice and quickly. It's to get them up there and to help Jess out in building that confidence in the Hear and Say kids, in many of your kids. Courtney and Michael, thank you for your $100. That's a great gift there from you as well. Giles and Cherry, did I get you on the way through? Thank you for your $100. Doing an amazing job, they say. So perhaps you've got some experience and you know exactly what's going on there with the Raw program. Katie and James, $100 as well. Thank you, Katie and James. Absolutely terrific. This is great. Heading up to 4,600 now. So absolutely wonderful. I'm not sure if we've included the initial 5,000 from the anonymous donor, but that's a terrific amount from our pledges so far to get to 4,600. And this was the thing that you were saying, wasn't it? That like the $500 gets you a 2-hour group session for 20 kids. So this is 10 of those that we've got there already. Absolutely wonderful. Dimity and Peter have thrown in $100 as well. Thank you, Dimity and Peter. That's good on you. Absolutely terrific. So heading up to $4,800 now. So thank you. So if you would like to give, don't forget, it's as simple as that. You can also text anonymously. You can donate directly on the Hear and Say website if you wish. All of that's absolutely fine. We love the public giving, so we'll encourage you to keep pledging there on the chat room. We will, of course, go through each program, as we said, and then we'll come back around. So if you want to see what happens with the others, there will be another opportunity to come back and donate to Raw. Corinne, I hope I'm saying your name correctly, and Val, $100. Thank you. Absolutely terrific. The Convery family, again, I've got that right. Robin Convery are delighted to support the amazing work that Jess and Hear and Say do. We pledge $5,000 thank you again for all of your help. You have no idea how much we appreciate this. So thank you so much. This is Carl's family. This is Robin, who was kicking us off there. So thank you, Robin. Fantastic for the extra support there as well. That is incredible. I think I'm losing track of how much you've actually donated now, Robin, at this point. But that's very generous, and I think it indicates. I think like both that is a very clear indication of how much you appreciate the work that's going on there. But I feel as though this is known. I think we all get this. We all get when we see the great work of something like Here. We know how much parents and children will appreciate what is being done. We know how we will feel. I think it's easy to imagine a world without these things, and how difficult or a struggle that would be if they weren't there. We have a further $500 proxy pledge, so thank you so much for that. $500 proxy pledge, absolutely wonderful. If at any time, if you want to take a note of the website, it's just come up there on the chat there as well. I'm sure you can find it. It's Hear and Say. We'll get you there, but hearandsay.com.au/your pledge will get you there directly. But I'm sure on their website you'll be able to find that. You always find the website at any point and be able to donate. All right, so this is a wonderful amount so far. I'm wondering if I'll just give perhaps a final call at this point to see if there's anybody else who'd like to help out. Jess's RAW program, her offering of classes. What is it? 12 programs they're running, virtually one a year. I love that. That's so it's obviously so targeted there, so specific. The difference between what you'd need at 10 years old and what you might need at 12 would be vast, I imagine. So the fact that they're programming in that sort of way, so that whatever age you are, you're getting what you need is a wonderful thing. Another $200 anonymous proxy pledge. Thank you, proxies. Proxies being very generous tonight, so thank you. Terrific. $200 there as well. Wonderful. All right. Well, what I think is we might move it on there. If you want to come back, if you're thinking, okay, I was thinking of giving to RAW, and we do come back again and just go back around. Some people like to sort of see how things are matching out over the way. Then, we might come back and see what that is. I might just add in there, make sure I catch this one, that there's a $2,000 anonymous proxy pledge just come in there as well. So that's amazing. Thank you so much for that. That's a $2,000 proxy pledge there for RAW, just popping in at the end there. Perhaps I'll just do a little pause just before we go too much further, and just see if anything else pops in, because it can get a little bit confusing if stuff starts to come in, whether it's for which group it's for. So Jess, wonderful work with RAW. Robin, thank you so much for your heartfelt words and your excellent encouragement there at the start, and for your support and for everything you're offering to Kyle there. It's absolutely terrific. So let's hope, Jess, that's going to be great help to you to do the terrific work that you're doing. All right, so let's see who we can do next. That's excellent pledging there. That's fantastic. Now, you'd remember Jackie Monaghan we heard from before. She's doing the fantastic programs of Here to Learn screening in all the schools. Just seems like it's absolutely should be an essential thing that happens all the time. So let's hear from their advocate. This is Michael Wright. He's the executive chairman of TEAS, and he'll be here to share his message of support. TEAS has been a proud supporter of Hear and Say since its earliest years, partnering across a diverse range of projects to drive lasting change for children and families impacted by hearing loss. And this includes TEAS's role as founding regional partner of the Here to Learn program, supporting hearing screening in central Queensland. So thank you so much, Michael, for all of that work that TEAS has done and for being with us here tonight. Hello, Michael.
Hello. Hi, how are you? Very good. So good evening, everyone. I'm really proud to be here advocating to you about the phenomenal work that TEAS's long-term partner Hear and Say do. I invite you tonight to invest in an organisation which ensures that every child has the opportunity to connect and fully engage with their education. TEAS is proud to be the founding regional partner for the Here to Learn program, and over the last 4 years we've been through 24 schools and tested some 1,800 students. TEAS's partnership with Hear and Say goes back some 25 years through various donations, through sponsorship of children, and now proudly through this Hear to Learn program, which we're talking about tonight. Hear and Say has shown us the critical role that hearing plays in education, and together we've continued to grow our partnership into something that's bigger than us, something for the regional communities of Queensland that they benefit from every year. We've seen the difference that hearing testing in schools can make supporting regional families and regional communities. Despite the challenges of COVID during the year, the Hear and Say team have done a remarkable job, still innovating and bringing various aspects of their programs to the regional parts of Queensland, making sure their service continues to support the broader communities throughout this state. It's this very passion and commitment towards the community that first brought TEAS and Hear and Say together. We've got a strong business in Queensland, and Hear and Say have a very strong presence throughout Queensland, and we're very proud to continue our sponsorship of them. We know that our sponsorship will continue to evolve, and through your added support for the Hear to Learn program, will be used to continue to increase the number of kids that can be tested throughout regional Queensland. So please tonight dig deep, join me with the TEAS team in contributing to the Hear and Say journey and to the Hear to Learn program throughout Queensland. I'd like to get the sponsorship started by donating a further $5,000 from TEAS to kickstart the fundraising. So thanks very much and give generously.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Fantastic. Excellent words. Thank you for your continued support and for that donation of $5,000 to help us off here tonight. Absolutely terrific. Thanks to TEAS, and thank you, Michael. Great to hear from you. I'll just mention one before we go on to the Hear to Learn, which came in just at the end there. It's from our friend Robin in Hong Kong, who has picked up a $1,000 proxy pledge from her friend Ramona in HK as well, and from their lovely son Rayan. So thank you so much for that, Ramona. Good on you. Beautiful. We'll add that into the raw total a little later on. All right, so we're now here to take some pledges for Jackie's program for Hear to Learn. One of the most, such a simple, direct kind of thing. As she says, I think this is the sort of thing where we're funding now to get the energy, to get the momentum, so that this kind of thing, can be taken over by government, can be the sort of thing that's just a standard part of our education. It should just be rolled out. There you go. You're in kindy, you're in year one. At some point in the year, the Hear to Learn people come around and do the test. It's as simple as that. But at this point, it would be good to fund this. We need to fund this. We need to make sure that it keeps happening. We need to make sure as many Queensland children can get to have this experience and find out what's going on. So we have $100 anonymous proxy pledge from Hear to Learn to start off. So thank you so much, Courtney, for that. Absolutely terrific. Sorry if that's from Courtney, but thanks to the anonymous person for donating that. $100 for Hear to Learn. Absolutely terrific. So if you would like to pledge for Hear to Learn, to get the tests rolling out there, those 5-minute tests that Jackie was telling us about, then you might like to type something into the chat room right now. Let us know how you would like to give. Of course, you can give anonymously. You can use the text number that's come up and then to donate anonymously there if you prefer, or go straight to the Hear to Say website. Get in touch with them during the year at other points, of course, as well, if you think you might be able to support what they do. But if you'd like to do something right here tonight, as we're having this fundraising, it's absolutely terrific to hear from you. Lindsay and Pete says, astounded this is not funded by the government, but I'm pledging $500 right now. So good on you, Lindsay and Pete. Thank you so much for that. $500 from Lindsay and Pete. Yes, beautiful. Laura and Ben have thrown in $100. So thank you to Laura and Ben. Courtney and Michael, $100 as well. Absolutely terrific. And yes, thanks so much to TEAS for their $5,000 for the matched funding pool. That's why you've seen the items double at this point. Petra and Ian, thank you for your $100. Good on you. Thanks for helping out the Hear to Learn program, Petra and Ian. That's really good of you. So if you'd like to pledge, now's the time to help out Jackie's program. I mean, I thought that was really extraordinary that she's saying 23% of kids will present some form of hearing loss at that kind of age. Let's hope half of those have got some Lego stuck in their ear. Certainly that would have been my kids. Very happy to stick Lego anywhere, really. That was my childhood. That was my experience of raising my children. But even if that's the case, and you've still got another half of kids that are picked up, that's 10%, that's 15% of kids that then are going to need some further intervention. And so let's get this program going and rolled out. Thank you to James Monaghan for $500. Good on you, James. From Mia and Ava Eels, thank you for your $500. Good on you, Mia and Ava. That's terrific. From Cherie and Giles, $100. Good on you. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much. And a further $1,000 anonymous proxy pledge there. That's $1,000 from Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous Proxy. So thank you so much for that. That's absolutely terrific. $1,000 from them. Thank you so much for your donation so far. This is terrific. And again, this was the same sort of thing, wasn't it? You know, $1,500 is 30 children. So we've got, you know, $6,000 there. I think I can do the math. I think I could. That means we can now do 120 children. Thank you. I did that. 1,500, 30, 600. I think I'm pretty sure I've got that right. It's 4 times 30, isn't it? Huh? That's good. Fantastic. $6,000 raised there. That's 120 children we'll be helping out with Here to Learn screening. How many more can we get? How many more can we get? Can we double that? Can we go to 240 kids? A gross of children. Can we do that? 240 children would be absolutely fantastic. We have a $50 proxy pledge, so good on you. Thank you so much. $100 from Lyndall as well. Thank you, Lyndall. That's very good of you. Marvellous. Can we get any more for the Here to Learn campaign, Here to Learn screening campaign? A terrific thing that goes out. I mean, imagine in a few years' time if we're then sort of talking about, look, we'd like to come back when they're 10. Do another check, see if we can get more happening at that sort of point. That'd be great. But right now, let's get what we can for what Jackie is doing and achieving right now around Queensland. It's absolutely terrific and wonderful work that they're doing. So we're at $6,300. It's 120 children we can help. Can we get any more there? Any more that you would like to pledge for the Here to Learn program run by Jackie Monaghan? We'd love to hear from you. And look, exciting breaking news. Tees has said they'll put in $5,000 more at this point. So thank you so much to Tees there. That's absolutely terrific. Obviously, Michael and Tees are seeing what an effect this has, how important this is. You know, this is a company I'm sure that deals with lots of far-flung areas of Queensland and in all sorts of ways. So they're seeing those communities, they're talking to those communities. This is their workers, this is their people, and so they understand exactly how powerful this can be. So thank you so much to Tees and Michael. Thank you so much for that. Annabelle's thrown in $100 as well. Good on you, Annabelle. Fantastic. Trent and Anthea, $250. Thank you. $1,000 from Dean Mamet. Thank you, Dean. Good on you. And Helen and Nick, $100. So absolutely wonderful amounts coming in there. That's terrific. Now we're pushing it along, so that's marvellous, the work we can get done there. Darren and Francesca, $500, and they say they're proud to be associated with this great team. Yeah. I would imagine you would. Like, isn't it fantastic? They have done incredible work for many years now, and all of this is going to help that work continue. It's going to give it energy and lots of strength and vision for the future. So absolutely terrific. Thank you, Darren and Francesca, Helen and Nick, Dean. Thanks for your $1,000. That's terrific. Trent and Anthea, Annabelle, very good. Good on you. Marvellous, and thank you so much for throwing that in. So we're over $15,000 now. So that means we had 120, and so 120 was 6,240, and so that's another 3,000. So that'd be about another. If it's 3,000 more than the 240, that's like, is that 300 kids now? I think it is 300, isn't it? Is that right? Hope so. If there's anybody with numeracy skills, feel free to correct me at any point. But I think we're up to about 300 kids. I think we got our gross of children, and now we've got some extras. So that's very, very good. Ian and Angela, $250. Thank you, Ian and Angela. That's thank you for your $250 pledging and your donation there. Wonderful. Bravo. Yes, that's terrific. All right. I'll just give it a little moment and see if that's about it at this sort of point. Thank you, William, for your $50 for Here to Learn. We seem to be taking $50 donations. We kind of like a minimum 100, but I guess we like 50 too. So thank you. That's very good. $50 from William for Here to Learn at this point. Okay. Shall we have a little pause there? I'll just give it a pause. I'm just saying, if you're putting one in right now, terrific. Finish. If you're still thinking about it, maybe wait and we'll come back and get you on the second round so that we're not confused about any of these, where these funds are coming from and exactly where they're going. So I know Jackie Monaghan's going to be very excited about that amount that we've got so far. That is terrific support for the Here to Learn program going all around the country. On my screen, it's just suddenly changed to $200. I'm assuming we didn't lose it somewhere. That'll be some sort of technical glitch. But that's fantastic. Well done. That's absolutely terrific. And look, there it goes. Happens every time, doesn't it? The Wright family have just thrown in $2,500, $2,500 from the Wright family. Thank you so much for that. That's absolutely terrific. Thank you. That's very generous, and that's a wonderful, wonderful gift there. All right, anything? Just pausing, just waiting, you know. I mean, I don't know if you're aware of this, but I'm doing this from Sydney in New South Wales today. So I must find out tomorrow whether or not we've got anything similar like this in Sydney, New South Wales, because it seems crazy to me if we're not doing this. The sort of things, the sort of benefits this can have seems so obvious. Do we do eye tests? They do eye tests in schools. They do eye tests in schools, don't they? So why do we do eye tests and not hearing tests? It seems crazy. The eye test, I would imagine, is when I think my kid started, they just went like me, became short-sighted. It's reasonably easy to pick up. They suddenly can't see the board. This is a lot harder, a lot more difficult. It's not going to present as obviously, is it? Particularly among young kids. So fantastic program that you're doing there, Jackie. Wright family, thank you so much for your $2,500. If there's anything more, we'll find out as we come round for our final second round. But let us raise some funds now for Elisa's Telepractice program. The advocate for this program is Alan Graham. He's General Manager of Suncorp Stadium, not a venue that is filling the hearts of the people around me in this city, but beautiful place and absolutely wonderful, Alan. Beautiful stadium. Thank you so much. Here and Say has been a proud partner of Suncorp Stadium for many years, from the former Origin Greats beneficiary lunches, where it all began, to the annual Suncorp Stadium Charity Golf Day. Alan is a long-standing advocate for Hear and Say's work, so we're thrilled that he can be involved tonight.
Suncorp Stadium is proud to have had Hear and Say as our major charity partner for more than a decade. When it came to picking a charity, we were taken by the amazing results that Hear and Say has achieved and the remarkable difference they make to the lives of so many Queenslanders to help them reach their full potential. We're proud to support their Telepractice program, which reaches remote families who otherwise would not have had access to services offered in larger urban areas. I'm asking for your help tonight. Let's raise some funds to allow Hear and Say Telepractice program to continue their great work.
All right, terrific. Thank you so much, Alan, for that message of support, of your ongoing support of the excellent work of Hear and Say. Thank you so much. Now, we've had another anonymous donor who would like to match your pledge tonight and has donated $5,000. Fantastic. And so this means that your donation will be doubled for this program as well. So thank you so much to that anonymous donor. That's absolutely terrific. So if you'd like to support Elisa's work, then please put your name and pledge into the chat box. That'd be absolutely wonderful. Elisa's Telepractice work is so valuable, so perfect. It's so on time. Couldn't have been better. I'm sure that you've had I'm sure it's all been a whole lot easier in 2020 because you had Elisa's experience and you were already set up to be doing these sort of things, to be able to deal with the with COVID 2020. I'm sure it's been a whole lot easier. And I'm sure a lot of cities, a lot of organisations, a lot of charities and companies are thinking this may not be the last time we have to do this sort of thing. Just look at Adelaide in the last week. Suddenly got to turn around and do it all again. The telepractice is going to work for that sort of area, but most importantly, it's working to reach all Queenslanders. It means that everybody's got access to this. I mean, I think of, how sad it is, and I can't think of this is so important to be happening in that area. It's such a great place to be testing it. You've got such diversity across that incredible state, so many different places to try and reach and trying to get to. And the fact you can be delivering it into the far reaches of Arnhem Land, the Northern Territory there, and into the very furthest reaches of Queensland is absolutely fantastic. So if you'd like to pledge for Elisa's telepractice program, then get on the chat room right now. We've got $5,000 matched. Absolutely terrific. Dimity saying, Alan, the football field looked wonderful and fantastic to see the packed state of origin last night. I'm just trying to, especially, it's a little bit raw, a little bit soon for New South Wales blue person like myself, but I'll let you have it. Okay, it's yours. You did it. You won. It's fantastic. Good on you. And it did look like a fantastic night. What a strange year it's been for sport. All right, the telepracticing pledging, Kirsty, thank you so much. $100 from Kirsty. Thank you, Kirsty. Good on you. Wayne and Robin, $100. So thank you for your pledge there as well. Let's keep them coming. And for all the programs so far, if you've been waiting for this one, then let's hear from you for telepractice. What would you like to give? Clinton writes, fantastic work and great pitch, Elise. $200 from Clinton and Anne. So thank you so much, Clinton and Anne. Wonderful to get your support there for the telepractice program. I mean, this one just seems so obvious, doesn't it? It's a bit like, I mean, they're all absolutely essential, aren't they? They're all the sort of things that you would hope that they would be there. This seems like one of those things saying we need envelopes. We need to be able to reach people using all the techniques that we have right now. Alex and Ryan, $100 there. So absolutely fantastic. I've been told that my video has disappeared. Are you not seeing me? What a loss. That must be appalling. I'm going to have to revert to radio work now, which is what I usually do. So I should be okay. So let's turn it into, it's a radio telethon fundraiser right now. You're on Radio Hear and Say, the Hear and Say network now, broadcasting on whatever we're broadcasting on to help raise money for the telepractice program. Hopefully you can still see the amounts there and still see the chat. So where do we get to? Josh and Elise, I think you've thrown in $100. So thank you, Josh and Elise. That's terrific. Dean Mehmet, hope I've got your name right, Dean. $1,500. Thank you, Dean. Absolutely terrific. That's wonderful. Thank you, Kirsty. I'm glad you can still hear me. Hi there. I'm right here. That's wonderful. Fantastic program from Amelia. That's $100 for Amelia. That's great. Thank you, Amelia. That's really, really good of you. Okay, so what else can we give? I must say I'm feeling a little happier without the video. I'm no longer as comfortable on the screen as I might once have been. So now not to have it, it's like, oh yeah, well now I'm doing a radio show. It's fine. It's funny, my brain has shifted completely into just doing sort of radio stuff. It's odd. Kristen Lark, thank you for your $100. That's very, very good of you. So thank you for helping out there, Kristen. What would you like to give to the telepractice, to Elisa's marvellous telepractice work, the work of getting this kind of thing out, hopefully the video works, out to all around Queensland, but also those terrific camps. Like this seems like they're really getting everything you could hope for. You get to live at home, you get to live where you should be, you get to come into Brisbane, interact. And as she said, the other most important thing about it is they're getting to meet all the other people around Queensland that are living similar lives. So that's a great thing. Lindsay says this program is such a vital lifeline to regional Queenslanders. $500 from Lindsay and Pete. Thanks, Lindsay and Pete. Good on you. That's wonderful. Amanda says $100. That's from Cyrus. Well, Cyrus says $100. Thank you. Courtney and Michael have thrown in $100 as well. Great work and thanks to the whole Hear and Say team during a tough year, with special thanks to Katie from the Eels family. $1,000. Thank you so much, Eels family. That's good on you, and absolutely wonderful. Well, here's an extraordinary one just coming in. Adigold Aviation, $5,000. Adigold Aviation. Now, in a hard year for aviation, that's really extraordinary. Thank you so much. Adigold Aviation, $5,000 from them. That is a wonderful donation. I don't know Adigold Aviation. I'm imagining that they're a company that works across rural Queensland, so if they know the value of this kind of thing, but that's terrific. Thank you so much to them. $5,000 from Adigold Aviation to help out the Telepractice program. So marvellous there. We're getting up to $13,900 for Elise Harvey's program to get to do the program that brings all of Queensland together, really, the program that enables so many that would otherwise never be able to get the kind of services that Here and Say are offering. It gives them direct access to it. It makes it makes so much possible, and makes such a difference. Like, I love the way, I was thinking of the description that Elise was saying about, it was a Tom and Huey, where they can go back and still be on the land. They can still be on the farm. Like, it's not that thing. Years ago, it would have been, okay, well, we're either going to have to sell up, or we're just going to have to move the kids into town or something like that. But this is, they're obviously, this is where they live. They've got the property. That's what they want to do. They want their kids to be there as well. So it's fantastic. It's a beautiful thing that this can take place. So fantastic donations so far, particularly thanks to Adigold Aviation there for their $5,000. But thanks to everybody else. We've got $13,900 because of Courtney and Michael's 100, because of Cyrus's 100, because of Amelia's 100. This is how the whole thing works. You roll it all up, and this is what we get to right now. Okay, so at $13,900, I'm wondering if we'll just leave it there for a moment. I didn't go anywhere. I just took a little glass of water. And shall we see if we've got anything more for everybody else? So thanks so much for your donations to help out Telepractice and Elise there at $13,900. That's absolutely wonderful. If you've got a final donation for them, then now's the time to put your pledge onto the chat room, or help out anonymously through the text, or go direct to the website. Isabel, thanks for your $100. Good on you, Isabel. That's wonderful. Thank you for your $100, Isabel. That gets us to a neat $14,000. Thank you so much. All right, anything further from all those online right now around Australia, potentially around the world? That would be great. The Farwell family, $100. Thank you so much from the Farwell family. So wonderful donations there. And I'm just sort of pausing a little bit, just allowing you a few final moments to get some more in there. Robin, I think Robin Convery's been on the phone to all of her friends in Hong Kong. She's been talking to her friend Stephanie, and she's saying that her best friend Stephanie here in Hong Kong would like to donate $500. And Stephanie, I think, knows how much Kyle has benefited from the Here and Say's Telepractice program. So thank you, Robin's friend Stephanie. Good on you. $500 from her. Absolutely terrific. Round of applause from Alex. That's marvelous. All right, we happy with that? What I think we can do is go back and just check that there's not anything more there. If you're waiting to sort of see what you had in the kitty and you want to see what else we can donate, which means that we can then also pick up anything that might be coming in for Telepractice as we go along. So 3 great programs there and a very good result so far. It'd be great to see if we can get that to 50,000, I'd say. We'd all sort of feel good about that. But at 48,700, that is an excellent amount, and a lovely and a good spread there, good support for all of those programs. The RAW program is Jessica Balfour Ogilvy's program. It's offering resilience and wellness. 12 programs from toddler, from little babies through to late teens, school leavers. Terrific program that she's done there. Is there anything further for RAW? If you would like to throw in a little more there to help out RAW, that'd be absolutely great. If you want to do something, across all 3, another $100 or something across all 3, that's fine. Put that in the pledge right now. That's absolutely perfect. But if you've got anything further for the RAW group, that'd be great. Thank you so much to Karen and Chris for another $100 for Raw. Thank you, Karen and Chris. That's really great of you. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you. Perhaps because we're doing all three, if you pledge now, it might be a good idea just to put which one you're intending, because I'm going to move on to the Here to Learn group and see if there's anything further for them. Hang on. $5,000 from Kyle's grandma, from Kim Lamson, for the Raw program. I'm going to assume that's where that's heading. Grandma, thank you. $5,000 from Kyle's grandma, Kim Lamson. Thank you so much, Kim. That's absolutely terrific. And obviously, you've seen directly how wonderful this program is and what it's doing for Kyle. So thank you so much for your support there, and the fact that you're offering that support to so many other children. You know what it can do, and you're saying, I want this. I want every kid to have this opportunity. So that's a beautiful thing that you're doing there, Kim. Thank you so much. Thank you, Robin, to your vigor in Hong Kong. You know, sure, it's been an interesting year in so many ways for you as well. And so for you to be there, getting your friends together, getting the family together to help out in that way, that's absolutely fantastic. Thanks, Robin. That's wonderful. Now, anything further for Here to Learn? This is a marvellous and very straightforward program that Jackie's offering around the state. Let's get out and help people directly. If you'd like to give anything further there, that would be terrific. At this time, it's an excellent amount at $17,900, but it'd be nice to just see if there's anything more. Then that's great. I mean, been so generous, so generous as we've gone all the way through. Absolutely terrific. So thank you for everything so far. This is just a way of making sure that, if you've been holding back just to see how much money you've got, then it's good to do this. So Matthew and Di, $100 each for each program. So Matthew and Di would like to put $100 to Raw, Here to Learn, and Telepractice. Thank you so much. Chris and Carol would like to add $100 to Here to Learn and Telepractice. That's fantastic. And Kyle's great-grandmother. Kyle's great-grandmother has come in. I'm loving the Convery family. They're terrific. They're long-lived and generous. So Kyle's great-grandmother has kicked in $2,000, and I'm assuming I might check with you, Robin, as to which program that's for, whether that's for Raw or for Here to Learn. But wherever it's going, that's terrific. That's for Raw. Thanks, Robin, for letting us know. So Kyle's great-grandmother has kicked in another $2,000 there for the Raw program. Thank you, Robin. That's absolutely terrific. Yes, and look, thanks for that generosity there. I'm sure you can talk to Here and say, just, wherever you feel will fit best. That's terrific. But I might allow you to have that discussion at a later point. Bridget, $100 for each program. Good on you, Bridget. Thank you so much. That's great. Another $100 for each of them, for Raw, for Here to Learn, and Telepractice. Thank you, Bridget. Oh, I love a late surge of generosity. It's good, isn't it? It's just that sudden feeling. Oh, yeah, come on, who's got a bit more? Let's go for it. So absolutely wonderful there. Well, I'm wondering if we're at an end there. Emma's thrown in $50 for each program. Good on you, Emma. Thank you so much. Another $50 there for each of them. That's wonderful. So we're looking at total getting pretty close to $60,000 there, $56,750. That's absolutely extraordinary and terrific work there tonight. Bravo. That's wonderful. I'm thinking that might be around about it. I'm feeling that you've been wonderful so far, and so thank you so much. Incredible amount of generosity there. All the totals are up. You can see it there right now. So we're at 23,550 for Hearus Raw. For Here to Learn, 18,250, and for Telepractice, $14,950. I think it's the difference between being here and being in the room is, it's a bit chalk and cheese, but you can still feel, I end up feeling the same sort of energy through this as we feel in the room, when we all start to come together and we all start to feel the joy of people giving $100, of those who can afford more giving more, the corporate programs coming in and giving the support as well. It's you feel the community. You can feel that sort of formation of it. It's and the strengths of it that's happening here right now. So wonderful, well done. Terrific generosity, and thank you so much. Chris, if you're around, Chris McCarthy, you might like to pop back in and come back and sort of just talk a little bit about what that's going to mean for these programs, the impact that that's going to have. So thank you so much. Let's hear from Chris McCarthy. If we can get his video, I wonder if he's got.
Here we go. G'day. Oh, James, thank you so much. Just blown away by the outpouring of generosity. You can see why Here and Say is always so humbled by the support of our community. We, when you watch those pledges coming through, it really, it gives you a chill. Can I just say a real big thank you first, of course, to our presenters. I mean, to Jessica, to Jackie, and to Elise. They did an amazing job, and they did that on top of all that they did. To our advocates, Robin, Michael, and Alan, we are just so grateful, and it is so, again, so humbling to see people who've been involved with our program for such a long time say such lovely things about us. But to all of our donors and all of the people that logged in tonight and were part of the very busy schedule that we know is happening around this time of year, we really are so grateful. To have the funding network, to have TEAS, to have Suncorp Stadium all be part of an event like this evening's is we are just so grateful, and really words will not do justice to the gratitude that we feel. So on behalf of the whole Here and Say family, to our families, to our supporters, to all of the people that have joined us from around Queensland, around Australia, and around the globe, thank you so much. We are so very grateful. And to James, always, your energy is amazing. We really are so lucky to have you as part of the team, and we thank you very much. So to everyone, thanks very much, and just blown away with what we've achieved in the last 90 minutes. Amazing. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Chris. Looks a pleasure from my end. It's oh, look, I'm back. Oh, how horrifying. Marvellous. Hello. Absolutely terrific there. And look, it's kept on coming in. $500 from Peter and Evelyn. $100 for Telepractice. And I've got the feeling that Robin Convery's sort of going down the contact list. Bang, 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 bang. You should see what we're doing right now. Come on, get in on it. Kyle's Auntie Marion is donating $200 to Raw. And another proxy $500 from Kyle's Poor Mary for Raw. So terrific. Thank you so much, Convery family, and Robin in particular. I'm sure, Robin, if we finished, you can get on to everybody to help out later. But good on you. Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody. It's absolutely terrific. Evelyn, I think it was, who gave us, Peter and Evelyn, if you'd like to indicate where you'd like that pledge to go, perhaps in the chat room there, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'm sure you know the work of Here and Say and where their website is. So, hereandsay.com will get you there, and go and have a look at all the things they're doing. If you want to donate further, there's they've got a pledging section there as well. But a pretty extraordinary night of $57,550, and I think that's a fantastic amount when you consider that it's been a big year. We've all had a lot to go through. We've all been helping people in all sorts of ways during 2020. So the fact that we can come together tonight at the end of such an extraordinary time and come up with that sort of amount to help out these three excellent programs, I think that's wonderful. The team from Here and Say will follow up. You'll hear from them regarding your pledge payment. They'll send you a link to tonight's stream, so you can share this out if you want to send it out to other people and say, look, this is what we were doing the other night. We had a fantastic time. We did this, and look at what we did. You'll also be hearing from the team. They'll update you on the impact of your support over the coming weeks and months. So, I hope you'll continue to have involvement. This you may have already had a long relationship with Here and Say, but if this is the start of it, I'm sure I hope you've had a great time. And this will be the beginning of something ongoing with Here and Say. I'm from the Funding Network. This is, we've put it together and had a great time doing it. So you can look at our website too if you want to find out more about what the Funding Network is all about. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you for support. I hope you've had a great time. I'm going to go now. Bye. Hang on. Is it Merry Christmas? Is it too? I'm not going to see it before. So I think this might be. This is my first Merry Christmas. Your first Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.